You guys can have starter for lunch if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at that. I wasn't sure if you wanted us to wait.
Are you guys still there?
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh yeah. What are you up to? Sounds like you're packing for something.
Oh, no, not really. I brought my stuff home from my dorm and I still haven't put all of it away, so I'm slowly chipping away at that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, should have been done a while ago, but
Yeah, it's weird you have to live with other human beings now.
yep.
Yeah.
Before I just had a roommate who was on his computer playing games all the time.
Yeah, I've been living on my own for a long time. I mean, even when I had roommates, it's still like I will never in my life have to live with my parents again, you know.
Yeah.
Um, it's not because I don't go back home ever. I do go back home a lot, but my dad lives in the house next door to ours, and my mom lives in Hermiston. So yeah, I don't have to live with my parents. My sister does live in the main house though. Um,
Okay. Are you
yeah,
still in Ellensburg right now, or are you okay?
yeah, I'm in Ellensburg right now, and I think Chase is in Ellensburg too.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I live in the Central Park apartments.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's just wait, that's down.
Older,
That's south
it's
south of
northeast
campus, northeast.
of campus. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the ones south of campus are the Park Place apartments. Central Park apartments are across the field, right?
Yeah, they're like the tallest one. I think it's like the biggest apartment complex in the whole city.
Yeah, the two biggest are the Verge and Central Park.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard the Verge is nice. I've heard that it's less riffraff over there because here we have like some partying type people and shit like that, and it's like, man, I'm not 18 years old anymore. You know what I mean?
How old are you?
I'm 27.
You're 27. Oh, I didn't know that. So am I.
Nice. 93, right?
I'm 92.
Oh, you're a little bit older.
I'm October 92. Wait, so how do you feel about the fact that you're gonna get your degree and you're gonna be almost 30? Because I know that I'm gonna be 30 when I get my degree.
How do I feel about that? I feel like I have to get a good degree to make up for the potential $1 million that I lost over the last 10 years.
So what have you been doing this whole time? That's what people ask me.
Well, I've been working in restaurants mostly. I worked at a bar in LA for a long time. I worked at two restaurants here in Ellensburg and Cle Elum. Um, and then doing car stuff on the side and being a drug addict. I was like really into smoking weed every day, drinking cigarettes, and I finally got over all that shit thanks to my girlfriend. So now I'm like can see clearly and fix everything that I fucked up.
So you think that narcotics definitely hindered your advancement?
Yeah, like it makes it so that you can never fully invest yourself in anything. Like you can do something for a couple of hours a day and then you have to go back to the bong like every few hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I know what you mean. I got whole fucking family addicted to something. Each person's addicted to something different. For myself, thankfully, I never tried substances, but there is of course, the natural male phenomenon that I can never seem to avoid.
yeah, it's
um,
crazy how time just flies by.
but I mean, I would say that I definitely appreciate the fact that I don't have to do anything with anybody except my right hand to feel that amount of euphoria, endorphins, um, running through my system, you know? I don't need cocaine or heroin or alcohol, right? And but, all my family is my dad was drank, my mom smoked, my sister did uh meth, my other sister did pot, and um I got fam yeah, a lot of stories about all the trials and tribulations. Thankfully everyone now seems to be clean. Um my dad's like 74 going on 75. He still has a glass at dinner every now and then, but it's all good, man.
That's great to hear, man.
Yeah, yeah. And then but I appreciate the fact that there's somebody else who's 27 and that I don't feel all alone in my references to things like Mutant Ninja Turtles before they were a live action movie, or the Gargoyles. You remember the Gargoyles?
Faintly,
Ah, Jesus. Or
faintly.
like, when I tell somebody that I remember when Justin Bieber was a douche, you know, like
What, yesterday?
uh, there was this house party when I was like 14. I don't even remember where it was, but it was fucking stupid. Anyways, moving on.
The restaurant that I worked at in Cle Elum, Justin Bieber actually would go there sometimes.
Oh yeah, someone said he has a house in Suncadia.
Well,
Yeah,
he's
I think.
from he's from Canada, so I mean, he's from not too far away from here actually. Um,
Right.
but yeah, Suncadia. But do you know the San Juan Islands? Do
Yeah.
you know do you know where those
Yeah.
are? So the old Dalai Lama, or well, the current Dalai Lama, I should say, he had a house on the San Juan Islands. I don't know if he still does, but
Huh.
Oh wow, that's cool.
It's
yeah.
actually pretty affordable there too.
Yeah, I would imagine. Do you know which
Well,
island?
um, I think it was Orcas Island. I think
Okay.
that's what I heard. But shout
It's been a
out
while
to
since I've been out there, but we used to.
the San Juan Islands Electric Vehicle Association,
Yeah.
which are a bunch of really cool people. They've got this thing called Flying Day. I think I told you about this, but they've got this thing called Fly-In Day because there's only two ways to get out to the islands. One is by boat and one is by plane. A lot of people get there by planes, and the Fly-In Day is like a car show, but for planes. But at the Fly-In Day, the Electric Vehicle Association, they show up with their electric vehicles. They have a little stall and they have a little electric vehicle show for all the pilots who fly in from all over the country. It's pretty cool. Um, yeah, this is where
Nice.
I met Ryan Palmatier out there. It's interesting how island places like the Orkney Islands or the San Juan Islands, um, they tend to be much quicker adopters in renewables than their surrounding environments, like and electric vehicles. Like the Orkney Islands are 100% renewables now. Um, those are north of Scotland, and they've had an electric vehicle scheme for a while. Uh, they build solar and battery banks on every new house. Um, it's pretty incredible. They have the EMEC, the European Marine Energy Center out there. They build tidal turbines and wave turbines, and then they sell the technology to other countries. Um, and they actually generate over 100% of their electricity in the islands, and they sell the rest of the electricity back to the Scottish main grid. Um, whereas they used to have a diesel generator where they would ship in the diesel and they would have to burn it to generate the electricity for the islands. That's absolutely not sustainable.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got wind, solar, and and tidal and wave power, and with all of those together, they have enough electricity. And that's Scotland is the next best in the UK, and then it kind of like filters on down south, led by the Orkney Islands, I would say. Um, and then the San Juan Islands, they're quickly approaching that. They have the largest per capita electric vehicle adoption rate in the country, of any county in the country. When I say per capita, I mean like not they don't have the most electric vehicles of any county in the country, but they have more people in their population percentage wise, like than any other county percentage wise per capita. Um, so that's pretty cool.
I bet you could buzz around the island all day in an EV, 300-mile range or whatever.
Yeah, San Juan Island doesn't have any level 3 chargers yet because they don't need them. I was talking to Ryan about that, and he says, yeah, we might put a couple up for the people who are going on long trips along Vancouver Island, because the San Juan Islands are one of the ways to get to Victoria on Vancouver Island, and the rest of Vancouver Island. You take the ferry from Anacortes through the San Juan Islands, and it hits Victoria. So if somebody's taking that long trip, they might want to top off on the San Juan Islands. But the San Juan Islands are, the islands are not that big. You That's why they don't have level 3 chargers.
Right.
Yeah, I was there for the ribbon cutting ceremony at the Friday Harbor Airport, which is the town on San Juan Island. Um, uh, and that charger's is pretty cool. It's a juice box charger. which is the same as the one that the non-Tesla destination charger that the Hotel Windrow has installed in town for their valet lot. Have you guys seen the Twitter or the Instagram for the club?
The Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, so the most recent photo for the club's Instagram is from that valet lot.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, here I found it. Follow.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize you had an Instagram. Yeah, it's and then so the charger on the right is Juicebox. The other two are Tesla destination chargers.
Oh, cool.
And then I have some more pictures from the lot that was installed back in, I want to say, well, the lot itself was installed in 2011, and that first, I want to say the first Tesla charger in this town, the first electric vehicle charger, actual charger in this town, installed back in 2011, next to the Panda Garden. And then there are two other chargers in that lot that were installed in 2018 by EVITA, the Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Transportation Alliance. EVITA, which is a project of Energy Northwest. And Jennifer Harper is my connection on LinkedIn now. She's the director of Energy Northwest. Energy Northwest has been doing some good things in electric vehicles, but unfortunately, what comes with our relationship with them, well, I don't know if it's unfortunate or fortunate, depending on your point of view, but the controversy of nuclear is there, and Energy Northwest has been advocating for fusel turbines, nuclear turbines, and it's I don't have a problem with nuclear per se. I still have the emotional attachment from Fukushima Daiichi, and all of the stories from Chernobyl, of course. But I mean, Fukushima wasn't even that long ago. And like you can, it's scary because we are in a on a fault zone. There have been earthquakes in this region the past few weeks. There was a couple of earthquakes in Idaho. There was an earthquake down in Oregon, and it's all statistics, but it's not impossible for an earthquake to strike here. And thank God the places that they're putting the turbines, there's nobody around, but that area is going to be unmanageable in the event of a meltdown. And the more severe the earthquake, the more severe the meltdown, because when the earth itself is literally a fucking sine wave, that no amount of precaution is going to save that fallout from happening. And that's what scares me. Like, an earthquake strikes a solar panel and nothing fucking happens. When it strikes a windmill, maybe the spinny thing falls off and kills a sheep, but or a goat, but it's not gonna cause a nuclear meltdown that's gonna create fallout that's gonna make the area unlivable for centuries. That's what concerns me. But I don't have a problem with nuclear itself. I think that in the right circumstances, nuclear is perfect. Space, for example, not on the moon, because the moon has a moonquake every month or so. But on spaceships where there are no earthquakes or moonquakes or planet quakes, I think it's perfectly fine. You just have to make sure that you are not in the direct path of a micrometeorite. So, like, you can set a nuclear material in space, and you don't have to worry about cooling it because the temperature in the shade of space is cool enough to keep it, cool on its own, which is pretty cool. But
Yeah, but couldn't they like potentially enter the atmosphere?
um,
Like if, we lost control of it or something, or would it just continue to orbit indefinitely?
oh, I wasn't talking about LEO. I was talking about like out in space.
Oh, okay, like further out.
Yeah, like powering a whole like bubble in space, like around the moon or around Mars. LEO's different because you can just chill.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah. Energy Northwest, good friends of electric vehicles, but they are big proponents of nuclear. They're a government program though, so that's something to think about. They're not a private enterprise. They're a government organization. I believe they run like a private enterprise, but their money, their website, their management is all government, if that makes sense. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know that even in the Tri-Cities, they've had problems with like nuclear runoff and stuff affecting the populations there.
Well, the Tri Cities were originally like built to support Hanford, um, and Hanford has had its share of problems, and they're not even a generation site; they're a storage site, um, and experimentation site originally, part of the Manhattan Project. But um, they never actually like designed that place to be an energy generation facility. The problem with Hanford is that it's so close to goddamn river, and they put they put their storage barrels so close to the river that when the storage barrels leaked, the the this material leaked into the river, and you're gonna get some nasty fish with some nasty covalent bonds, third eyes and shit.
And then a lot of people living in the area have had subsequent like thyroid problems and like things like that.
So, but what are we excited about electric vehicles this week?
Well, the icebreaker that I have for this week is just that Model Y is finally coming out, and people are excited that it has towing capability up to 3,500 pounds, which brings a few questions to the table. Is it competing with like the RAV4s and the Ford Escapes of the market? If so, will it handle like an active lifestyle? I know there's a video on the website on our site of a guy driving in the snow in his Model X, but I haven't watched the whole thing. What conclusion was reached from that video?
So you can tow with any Tesla. Let's
Mhm.
just get that out of the way. It does degrade the performance of the electric vehicle, but you can tow with any car, actually.
Mhm.
I'd say except for the Enfield and the Reliant Robin, stuff like that. Like most cars that are made today, you can tow with. Um, I'd say the direct competitor to the Model Y is actually the Model X. I think um, the Model Y is cheaper than the Model X. Um, of course, I don't care about SUVs. I think they're glorified minivans, so I'm not excited about the Model Y, to be honest.
Mhm.
I don't, I don't, it's cool that it's an electric vehicle and then it's a Tesla, but it's an SUV and I don't care. I'd say its other competitors are the Byte and M-Byte, the Audi e-tron, the Jaguar I-Pace, um, the uh, that SUV that Porsche has caught. Um, I'm not sure what that one's called because it's an SUV, and in my mind, Porsche and SUV don't go together. But Porsche makes an SUV. Um, so yeah, those are its competitors. The Model Y, I believe, is it used to be a 7-seater. Now it's a 5-seater because they removed the two back seats, I think. Um, and it's quick, you know. So what were the other questions there?
Just like, so if, the Model Y is promoting a more active lifestyle, how would someone, for example, like charge while camping in the forest or something?
Well, if
You
you go
know,
to an RV spot, then that should be pretty simple. But is that not the kind of thing you're talking about?
yeah, I mean, that's one of the things for sure. They could have chargers at EV or at RV sites.
Well, RV plugs have traditionally been how people got across the country in their Nissan Leafs. Before we had all of these charging networks,
Right.
RV parks were how people actually got across the country.
That makes
Because
sense.
they churn out 40 amps, and that's called it's called a NEMA 1450, and most of your home charging, um, you actually install your own RV plug or washer and dryer plug into your garage or your driveway, and then you install um, your electric vehicle supply equipment directly off of that. So your EVSE is what regulates your charge to the vehicle, right? Um, but yeah, that that RV plug um, is a pretty effective charging method. It's level 2, so it's not going to be fast charging, but it is 40 amps, so it's definitely more than what you're getting out of your home 120 volt outlet. Um, Another thing that everyone's starting to move towards now is solar charging while you're at camping. Um, but the Model Y isn't going to be a car that you're going to install solar panels on the roof of. Uh, and again, I don't think that the target market is campers. I really don't.
Teslas are kind of prestigious, is kind of the way that they get sold, I feel like.
Well, people do go camping with Teslas, but um, the ground clearance on the Model Y, I don't believe is gonna be the one that you're gonna take off-roading.
Oh, okay.
The Jaguar I-Pace is much more suited for that environment. That's really uh, the road testing that they put the Jaguar I-Pace through. The Model Y is more for like car campers and
Small families, urban small
well,
families, people.
no, you can have big families, but it's not for going out to like complete off grid, on logging trails. It's for going to places like I don't know, you can take it to Yosemite and Glacier, but you're not taking it to like the middle of fucking nowhere. That's not what the Model Y is for. And again, I don't think that the Model Y is actually targeted toward people who are going camping, unless the trailer hitch is not just for trailers. It's for flatbed trailers, and you can carry your firewood with it. You can carry your chainsaw or whatever. Um, you can do whatever you need to do with a trailer hitch. Um, you can put an Airstream trailer on it, but Airstreams aren't for camping. That's not what I think of as camping. Even having like a little Aloha trailer, I don't think of that as camping. I think of that as living in a trailer. Um,
Yeah, for sure. I wonder if you
uh,
could pull a small boat up a ramp with that thing.
I'm sure you
yeah,
can,
yeah, you can.
provided you have traction, I guess.
The Model Y has traction control.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I'm sure it has plenty of torque to do that kind of stuff. It's got
but I'd say the direct target market of the Model Y is like city people, to be honest. Um, Whereas the Rivian of the R1S is for the people who are gone like way out in the wilderness. Oh.
Yeah, for sure. Well, something to think about. They're becoming more all-purpose. Like, they have a little bit more space than the Model 3, but they're more accessible, obviously, to a broader audience than the Model X.
right.
There's actually an aftermarket mattress that you can buy for the Model X, and I'm assuming that the same company is going to start making them for the Model Y. You lie it flat out in the back across the back seats when you fold them down, and it's a comfortable mattress, and it comes with a bedspread and stuff. So, uh, and then the Teslas, they have this thing called camping mode, and camping mode means that it keeps the temperature in the cabin at the same temperature while you're sleeping, so that you're not like freezing to death. and it's a very useful thing to have. So you can actually live in your Tesla. There are people who do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. That is crazy. Not to say that I haven't lived out of a car before. Okay, so we want to go over what we did last week a little bit.
Sure.
So we discussed doing a podcast theme, theory of relativity or history of electric cars. We discussed lithium mining and we discussed some new battery technologies with Joseph Key, Maria Helena Braga, and John B. Goodenough, who are all doing cool things.
So Joseph Key is not actually the battery expert at UT Austin. Joseph Key is a student at CWU doing stories about batteries.
All right, I'll make that edit.
So
About battery technology. Cool. And then we've got supercapacitors on the horizon that we were talking about. We were discussing the longevity of Tesla batteries and some of the things that you're supposed to do. A question I had when I was going through last week's stuff is, are people going to be able to retrofit newer battery technology into older Nissan Leafs, which, I'm sure they'll figure out how to do.
yeah, so it depends on if you are like still in like quote warranty or whatever. The thing about Nissan, they've got a program actually in-house where you can take your old Nissan Leaf to the Nissan factory, and they will put in a new battery pack for you. Of course, they charge a ridiculous amount of money, but if you want a trusted source to do it, you can take that pack to Nissan. They'll replace it. You can, of course, do it yourself, but you gotta remember that you're doing it yourself, and yeah, first you have to live in a right to repair state, and then you have to understand that doing things yourself can cause death if you do it wrong. So you have to do it right. But if you do it right, you're fine.
Right.
Like if I'm gonna buy a $5,000 Nissan Leaf from Craigslist for, that's got maybe a 30 miles range on its batteries right now, then I'm definitely gonna buy a second Nissan Leaf battery pack, put it in, distribute it throughout the vehicle, and I'm gonna have twice as much range on that battery pack. I might also just replace all the old battery pack with a Tesla battery, and I will get, 4 times as much range for just as much money. Um,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
yeah.
Hypermiling, see how far you could go.
Again, this word hypermiling, every time somebody says it, I have to Google it because
Well, I think it might apply more to like gas cars, but I think that you could strip unnecessary things out of like an EV in the same way. Like I think hypermiling was something that people were doing with like Geo Metros and like, you know, like really light Saturn vehicles or whatever. But you know, like if you can remove a compressor, an AC compressor, and strip weight out, you could like potentially lengthen the range by a certain
Ye-
amount.
Yeah, I'm reading that. I definitely say that Dave Cloud's Dolphin is a version of this, but that seems like a different type of hobby to me. Of course, these people are saving money on their gas bill, but it's it doesn't seem like my cup of tea, to be honest. I mean, I'm not gonna rip out my AC compressor. I'm gonna do what I can do with my car. Uh, but I like having hot air. I like I like having a radio and uh windshield washer fluid and
Yeah, I saw. It seems like I usually see people talking about AC deletes if it's like their Honda Civic, they're trying to turn into a street racer, and they're just like trying to reduce all the power sapping they can, taking loads off the alternator, taking loads off the drive belt.
so yeah, I mean for racing, of course, you're gonna take every single ounce off the vehicle that you want. But
Right, and that's different.
for my own commuter vehicle, I'm gonna want to be as comfortable as possible. So I might be adding extra weight. You know,
Yeah.
that's that's what that's where I come from that. But simply replacing the Nissan Leaf battery pack with a Tesla battery pack is gonna mean that your range is extended so far. You know, that's just and that's I don't think of that as hyper miling because you're not actually dropping weight. It's just improving the technology that's there. So, um, if but yeah, I have to sit with this word hypermiling for a little bit. Um, to think about what I can do with it in my life, right? I definitely need to hypermile my own body. Um, I weigh 240, and when I graduated basic uh, and AIT, I weighed 180. That was damn. That was a while now.
Well, when I've seen hypermiling referenced is, do you guys watch Doug DeMuro at all?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he had an older video, and he was hypermiling a first gen Honda Insight, which is a car that I've always wanted, by the way. I think those are really weird and cool little cars. But he took it on the freeway with the owner, and they were trying to just get like the maximum possible achievable miles per gallon, and so they were off the gas whenever they could be. They were drafting behind semi trucks, and they were doing all this stuff. And I don't remember what the figure was that they got, but it was pretty cool in a tiny little hybrid car that's designed to be aerodynamic.
Yeah, see, in my normal driving behavior, I'm not drafting behind semis.
Oh,
That's
heck
the thing.
no.
Because I don't want to die.
Yeah. No, that's the owner. He turns to Doug. He's like, so one other thing we can do is if you're comfortable, we can do some light drafting. And he was just like so scared, like in this tiny car getting right behind a big semi truck.
Yeah.
But I think that you'd still have heat in your car I mean, because the heater core is like almost a necessary component for the cooling system, I think.
Not for an electric vehicle. Not for most of them. If you have a thermal management that integrates a heat pump into the system, then yeah. But for most electric vehicle conversions, you've got heating elements that are simple. You just basically you just heat up this wired thing, and then you put that next to the blower, and that blows the hot air. So, but now with heat pumps, um, it's more of an efficient method of blowing air into the cabin. People are talking about, and that's one thing that the Model Y has, which is a heat pump, and people are talking about how it's a great achievement in engineering, which heat pumps existed before. Other electric vehicles have had heat pumps. It's not a Tesla invention, but what they did was they made it better, and that's what Tesla does really well, is they make things better. Um, there's a lot of things that existed before, and Tesla just made it better. Um, you know, they've got great engineers at that company, amazing engineers, but the heat pump already existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it would be cool to try to get, like you were saying, to try to get 500-600 miles out of a electric car and just go like clear across the state, like as a club or whatever, or even just as a personal project.
So actually, that is one thing that you might take a look at is if you're interested in the engineering aspect of it, the difference between a ceramic heating element and a heat pump, and the energy loss that you're going to get from uh, a heating element versus a heat pump, um, and why traditionally electric vehicles performed poorly in winter, um, was because of the amount of electricity it took to heat up the cabin, and how much more efficient they're going to be when they all have heat pumps like the Model Y. That's one thing. Um, did you guys take a look at that video that I sent the link to? Um,
Yeah, AC versus DC.
yeah, the commutator and the
Yeah, I did.
brushes. Yeah, that was that a good video?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Did were you guys aware of that before?
Not totally. I knew a little bit about DC motors from the Benjamin Nelson project videos,
Uh-huh.
but that's about all. I didn't really know about the differences or much about AC motors as in general.
Yeah, I watched. Have you guys seen ads for the current war, or have you seen the movie, uh, The Current War?
No.
It is definitely worth a watch. I watched it. It is an amazing film. Current. The current war was an actual thing that happened, and most people think of it as it wasn't a war. It was the intellectual property battle between Edison and Westinghouse, and of course, Nikola Tesla was very integral to that battle as well. Um, all those characters are in this movie, The Current War. It's a dramatization. Benedict Cumberbatch plays Thomas Edison. Um, it's really an incredible movie. You guys should definitely check it out. Um, It was produced by Apple TV, but you can get it on Amazon Prime, the director's cut. I watched the director's cut. I definitely suggest the director's cut, not the other version. I don't know if I'm pretty sure it's out of theaters if it's on Amazon Prime now. But I didn't see too many ads for it until it came out on digital platform. But I'm pretty sure you can get it on Apple TV, Apple Movies, or Amazon Prime. So, yeah, it's really good. And there's an ad to it. I linked to the ad on the Facebook page. So if you have the Facebook, it's on there.
I'll definitely look at that. Another thing that if you guys want to look at that my friend was telling me about, he's really up on technology and everything. He said that Wired magazine has an environment issue that has a lot of interesting stuff in there.
Well, it's Earth Month this month, so I'm gonna think that most of the major publications are gonna come out with Earth themed articles and issues this month. It's the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, April 22nd. And that's what I'm thinking that the theme for the podcast is going to be this month as well. But yeah, definitely check out Wired magazine. And The Verge has some interesting articles as well. Wired and The Verge are basically the competitors of each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta go fairly soon. I should leave at about 1.
So how are you doing on the bike?
So not a lot of progress since last week, but something kind of interesting. A while ago, like before school started this fall, I picked up this used like Toro weed eater. It's electric. So it's got like a little DC motor in there, which turned out to be too wimpy to do anything useful with, but I still have it. It couldn't power a bike. Like you can stop it with your fingers, really. But it had this like encased sealed lead acid battery that's rechargeable. So I took it apart and I was like, well, maybe I can. It's a 12-volt battery, so maybe I can use that for like a little bit better motor I have. But I am now unable to charge the battery to above like 7.5 volts, and it won't even turn the original motor it came with. And it's been sitting for like half a year without use, and I wonder if that's what did it. It didn't last very long. Just sitting in the garage.
Was it sitting next to a magnet at all? Do you know?
I don't think so.
Or some other major source of electromagnetic activity?
Maybe if there was like heavy current wire in the walls, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that could be something like that. Not that I was aware of. But...
Lots of things can cause the degradation of a lead acid. You know, sitting it directly on metal can also degrade it over time as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
And storing it in improper temperatures.
Yeah, it also probably got pretty cold out there at some point. Our garage isn't that insulated, I don't think. So
yeah,
that could also have been what happened to it. So yeah,
well,
just kind of an interesting note.
Keeping a lead acid in a refrigerator it'll actually last longer than if you keep it on a regular shelf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but if it gets too cold, then it will perform worse.
Interesting. So, yeah, I think I might just whenever the metal recycler opens back up for customers, I'll just scrap it and get a couple bucks, hopefully, and then try to find a new battery. I wish that I took some of the some of the batteries that we bought home with me so I could hook them up to the bike, but I'll find something else temporary if I can.
Yeah, well, if you're just gonna do tests on the motor to get it to spin, then you can hook it up to a car battery for the tests. I mean,
Yeah, I did that to the motor just to make sure it spun, and it does spin. I think I'm gonna have to work on it a little bit. It's kind of sticky, but it did spin. I just don't, as far as mounting it on the bike with an energy source.
you should put your updates of the project on the website on Waterbicle.
Yeah, okay. I'll just have to get some pictures of the motor and whatnot and
Yeah,
get that up there.
yeah, definitely do that.
Cool.
And send some pictures so I can put them on the Instagram as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll try to do that soon.
You got any projects going on, Chase?
No, actually. I mean, the main projects that I have are all in Los Angeles, and I was gonna go over spring break to work on them, but then all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and I don't really have a place to work on things here. I can do some work at my future in-laws' house in Renton, because they've got a nice garage set up. So maybe I'll try to bring some of my projects up here this summer. And
how far a drive? Sorry for interrupting. How far a drive away is San Marcos from where you live?
San Marcos? I'm not sure. I'm from LA. Wait, what? San Marcos near? Oh, that's near the Bay Area, isn't it?
Let me see. San Marcos, California is it's next to Escondido.
Oh, that's next to San Diego then.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's only like an hour and a half or 2 hours from LA.
Okay. Yeah, there's some really amazing electric vehicle converters in that area.
Oh, well, that would be
EV
really
West
cool.
is in San Marcos. And if I can get Merit's permission, then or the permission of any of the guys, then I think you would have a lot of fun walking around the yard out there. You could definitely learn a lot. I would ask that you would take a video camera with you so you could film. And I don't know how good you are at interviewing. I've been wanting to go down there myself for a while, but I want to wait until I finish at least my Taurus conversion so that I can actually drive down there and do a video there after I've converted my vehicle. It's like a road trip, you know. But,
Yeah, that'd be so much fun. That would be awesome.
yeah. I think that'd be cool. Along the way, I want to stop off at several places on my road trip. I'm gonna stop off outside of Portland at the guy who built the Reckless house. He's the original gangster when it comes to salvage Teslas. And I'm not talking about Rich. I'm talking about this old white guy with gray hair. He lives outside Portland. And then stop off at a couple of other places.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm gonna have to take off, guys.
Cool, man.
I have to go to the restroom, so.
All right. Well, let's link up and do podcast soon. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Later, guys.
All
Later.
right.